Hello, this is Representative Sheryl Delozier, and I'm very lucky to be here at the Farm Show. We are enjoying many booths and many of our exhibitors that are here, but right now we get to talk with Secretary Redding, who has made it his career in agriculture, and thank you for being here and taking the time to talk to us.
It's a pleasure. Great to see you. Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wanted to talk to you a little about, I've had the joy of being able to see the twins this morning that were born, new calves. We have the calving corner, it's brand new this year. How is that going so far?
It's been great. You know, there's a lot of sort of concern heading into Farm Show and whether, okay, should we have this birthing center? Should we really do this? But the industry gave a lot of thought and looked around, you know, other models of the country and said, let's bring those best practices in here. As you can see, they've done a great job. Oh,
right? It's a great success.
It's beautiful.
Hundreds of people over there looking for all the calves and seeing the whole process and learning. I learned a lot about it, actually.
So you're sort of the exhibit, right, of what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think the calving corner has been great. Public responded well to it. You know, they get to see a process, a life cycle, right? The miracle of a birth.
Absolutely.
And then all of the issues that go with the stewardship and care of those animals.
Well, and that was one of the things that they were talking about, as to so many of our young people learning how to raise them, and then having, you know, from when they're very, you know, first born, and then taking them to show or whatever it is that they go about doing. One of the things I wanted to ask you about is that according to the Brewers Association, something new, everybody loves all the breweries that we have. Pennsylvania is 7th in the U.S. with more than 200 craft breweries. It's a new issue here, but I just found out, this is something new that I didn't know, Pennsylvania has Pennsylvania Preferred Brew. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're excited about that. You know, so this issue is it's great to have the brew, but how do you know what's Pennsylvania product, right? This local question appears in the spirit side as it does on farm market side. And the folks who are the brewmasters and these brew pubs really wanted a way to have Pennsylvania product identified in the marketplace. So our PA Preferred is our signature branding program for Pennsylvania.
Which has been a great success, right?
Which has been a great success. So if you as a consumer and myself, you have the PA Preferred, you see that keystone with the check mark, you know it's Pennsylvania product.
Right.
We just attached it to the brews in Pennsylvania, so you know it's a Pennsylvania brewed product. It's a whole sort of category now.
And it's great because people are proud of their home state, and if they can support one from a local area, a lot of the U.S. pride, is it made in the U.S., and this is this very similar program just with Pennsylvania. So I think it's neat how they can identify it, and it makes it easy, something that the consumer can pick up on really quick and know whether or not it is or it isn't.
Right.
Well, one of the other things that we had is that farmland preservation. And Cumberland County has a tremendous amount of farmland preservation. And the preservation program, we have the most successful one in the nation. What are the standards that kind of judge that as to be a success?
Well, I mean, I think back to 25 years ago when there was a ballot question. So you think about that today, right?
Right.
This wasn't something that we just said, hey, we got to do this, right? The Commonwealth asked the general public, you know, should we have a preservation program? And overwhelmingly, the answer was yes, right? So it began there. So it's this interesting sort of connection now, I think, between the citizens and our farms and farmland that really is the strength of our program that distinguishes it from any other in the United States, right? So it wasn't an executive order, it wasn't just an act of legislature.
So that's what made it different then.
It makes it different, and I think that's an important part of the history. So you fast forward, and now we're the leading program in the nation, 550,000 acres in Pennsylvania, 57 counties. Cumberland continues to lead. You know, it's just an amazing.
I mean, that's a huge issue in Cumberland County with so many of the farms, all different types, but the ability to have that assistance and have that preservation knows that we will continue to have it for years to come.
Right, but you're in an interesting spot in the state, right? So you feel those urban pressures.
Yes.
I mean,
the growth.
The growth.
Yes.
I mean, you have the 81 corridor.
Can we have some more townhouses?
Townhouses. You've got the 81 corridor, the big box stuff, and yeah, I get it that that's all has to fit in there. But you look at the prime farmland, and how we want to preserve that, hang on to it. So each one of those farm families, you know, that have made that decision is great. Is a great contribution to agriculture, to the county, and the state. So important.
Well, two things from what you just said in the sense of what is the status of, many people think, two questions. One is that the family farm, what is the kind of the status, because everybody thinks of the family farm as the only ag industry. And so my second follow-up would be just in the sense of, can you talk a little bit not only about the family farm, which is a strength that we have, but also how many other, if somebody was interested in going into ag but didn't want to work a farm, how many other careers are there out there for our young people to kind of take a look at that they might not have thought about?
Right. So, I mean, in the farmland preservation, those farms and families continue to be, the traditional family-owned. 97% of the farms in Pennsylvania are family-owned farms. Now, they're bigger, right? I mean, they're larger. I mean, they've got more complex for the reason that they've had to compete, they've added enterprises, but the family farm is still the overwhelming largest segment, without question. In terms of the jobs and the economic impact, we released today the strategic plan for Pennsylvania agriculture, and within that, we were able to sort of quantify both the significance of the economic impact of ag. $160 billion to Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
18% of our state gross product. 550,000 jobs, just to give you the stats. But within it, it's 59,000 farms, and then you've got all of these other jobs that are, the veterinarians or the scientists, the conservation district, they're teachers, they're truck drivers, they're batch makers, 28 different jobs that are in-demand jobs are in agriculture.
Well, one of the jobs that I learned about today, actually at the calving, was how much the type of hay and type of feed, and how they actually have a nutritionist come to the farms on a weekly basis to talk about, if the milk isn't producing to a certain degree, how they modify the actual feed in order to achieve it. So, I mean, that's a lot of chemistry, a lot of the sciences, a lot of, dealing with nutrition that people wouldn't necessarily think about, I can be a nutritionist and do it with farming versus people. The difference between that.
Right, so if you think about sort of human health, I would say look at animal health. Right, you've got this skill set of folks who like chemistry. I mean, who are really good with conversing with other people, engagement. All of those sort of social skill pieces. The nursing interest. You can do all that with animals, right? So I think there's a great sort of opportunity for young people. The growth in the next 10 years, 75,000 jobs in agriculture in Pennsylvania. Part of that's retirement. But a lot of it comes out of the growth that we see in the next 10 years in food processing, land stewardship, the environment, and of course, importantly, production agriculture.
Well, and one of the statistics that I heard not too long ago was the average age of our farmers.
Yes.
So it's in the 50s, the high 50s,
57.
I believe. Okay. And the ability for us to get young people involved in the industry is very important, and to make sure that they know how many opportunities that they have out there. One of the other issues is in two farms in particular in my area, they have not only done family farming, but they've now evolved into other parts of agriculture, whether it's venues on the farm, because having a wedding on a beautiful farm is obviously something that looks great for the pictures. But do many of the farmers find that they need to not only have their produce and have their production, whether it be animals or crop, but also to kind of find themselves needing to go into another part of agriculture in order to sustain the farm?
We're increasingly seeing that, right? And I think it's been interesting in the last sort of 5 years or so, the opportunities for the agritainment, the agritourism, and it may be extending the facilities that you already have, and I know some
using
of the folks
of the barns that they're not using.
The barns, they're great venues. People love that stuff,
yes,
right?
Do. Yeah.
Come out, you're on the land, you're in a beautiful barn, it's part of the heritage, it's in the community. And with it then comes sort of the food service opportunities, the entertainment opportunities. We want to encourage that. Now, I understand that for every farm that also is not possible, right? But if you have a metropolitan center, it's a destination, we see it. Love to see that develop even more. I think it's a great way of connecting people into food and agriculture by using those space and those venues.
And they learn as they go, as
they
well
do.
as the people that come out to the farm, because I know the one farm in our area has Eagle Scout ceremonies, has those types of things in the barn that they refurbish, as well as weddings, as well as anniversary parties, those types of things. And as the people come out and they learn what Strauch's Farm has done in the past, they might know them for their turkeys at Thanksgiving or you know, that type of thing, but the ability to learn also about other options. And some of those Eagle Scouts learn about agriculture before they go to college, and maybe that's something that they'll be interested in.
And maybe it inspires them to say, hey, maybe this is an area that I can put my science skills or teaching. So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate your time here, and thank you for all the information.
Thanks for being here. It's great to see you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Good.